Hello Steelers, and welcome to another Bench Reports hobby update. I'm actually recording this on Saturday night. This will be out on Sunday, but I'm recording this on Saturday night because tomorrow, Sunday, I'm going to be going to Vamp Attack over in York. This should come out before, I think, so if I do see you there, hello. If I don't see you there, hello as well. I'm not sure if this will be out early in the morning or later in the afternoon, but whenever it is, as I say, I'm recording this just the day before, just because I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow. Just to say off the back of that, I will obviously be making a show report of that as well, and that'll be put together as soon as I can, so hopefully that's going to be out this week as a bonus video. I'm going to try to get it done, put together probably before Wednesday-ish, but yes, you never know what's going to happen, so just wait on for it and it'll come to you. And as I say, at this point, I don't know how that will look or if I'll grab any interviews with anybody, but I'm fairly sure I will do, and hopefully you'll enjoy that at some point. This week I've been quite busy with bits and pieces. I've actually managed to get through quite a lot of stuff. Looking back over it now, a week later, I actually finished off a whole load of ploughed fields. I did these. These have been on my to-do list for such a long time. I did some ages ago, and I also did some cornfields as well. And I had all the materials. I'd just been sat there doing nothing, and I thought I want to get these done, get them out of the way. I mentioned them in last week's hobby update, and also I've just finished them off this week. I've made a video about making them, which you will see probably in a couple of months, I would say, at this point, given my schedule right now, because obviously everything backs up. So that will come out. That has been edited finally and put together, and that, as I say, for both ploughed fields and for cornfields as well. But I'm sure the smarter ones amongst you can probably work out pretty much how I did them anyway, but I'll just go through all the steps of it. So that's something to look forward to. Glad to got those done. Also, as well, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, I got some Soviets from Peter Pig. I had a few left over from the Battlefront platoon box that I had as well. So I basically painted these. These are mostly rifles and also some LMGs and some 30mm mortars, or 60mm mortars, whichever, I can't remember. But these I've done, and some submachine guns as well, which I can't remember who it was that sent them to me from America, so thank you very much for that if you're watching. I just put these together. I did the SMGs as a little platoon for O Group, and the rest is for Chain of Command, because I realised when Dex and I played Chain of Command I didn't have enough Soviets for those mid-war large platoons that they have, where they have 4 sections in rather than 3 that are in the book, and I misread it. So I got those done, just nice. Also the German engineers that came from Peter Pig as well, I just did those quickly. These are just some flamethrowers, also some mine layers, and some guys with sticks for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But I did those as well, again just individually mounted. They're all done for Chain of Command, they'll just go in somewhere and I'll use those at some point somewhere. Also as well, today, Saturday, or yesterday when you're watching this, I did one of the Char B1 Bisses from that Richard Hogg had sent over to me. He sent me 4. I was going to do them all early war French originally, but I just decided I'm going to do at least one of them as a captured German one, because it's always nice to have a bit of something different on the tabletop, and this will be an interesting little addition to the Normandy stuff. I'm fairly sure some were kicking around in Normandy. Apparently there was only 160 of them captured, I think, and of those most were turned into flamethrower tanks. But there was at least one, I've seen a reference to at least one of them on the Channel Islands, painted up in the 3-tone German camo, so I just thought I'd do that. It could have been rushed up to Normandy. I'm fairly certain there were some others kicking about as well. As I'll say, at least I think they were being used as anti-partisan tanks around France. I know some of the other ones were, so they would have been pushed up to the front lines. So I just thought a nice little interest, a little change there. In the post this week, it's been quite quiet. I am waiting for a big delivery of some stuff. I'll wait until that's arrived to tell you more about it, but that's going to be for a little future project that I'm going to want to put together, hopefully put together at some point. But that's just something a little bit quiet, so I'm going to keep quiet as well for now. But what else has come in the post, because I've been relatively quiet, is one of the people over at the O Group Facebook group has basically put together vehicle cards for O Group, so data cards. So I don't know if you can see these particularly well, but they've done literally just gone through every single vehicle type, and I got these printed. They're PDFs. You can find them in the files section of the O Group Facebook group, that is. So go there, join that, and you'll find these in that section. And there's quite a few sheets. I just downloaded them all and I sent them all off to Docs Direct and got them printed on cardstock. Then I cut them out. I also laminated them as well, and they are now a lot easier to use, and we actually use them in our O Group game, which I'll talk about in a second anyway. And it just makes things a lot easier. Instead of looking through the book or through all those big lists of Arsenal lists and stuff, it's just a lot easier that they're all in, easy use cards. So that was one big thing. The other thing that I got as well, I'll just mention these very quickly, is the Through the Mud and the Blood platoon rosters. Now these came through from Warbases. These are my design that I made, and I'll put the link to the description. I'll put a link in the description to my Google Drive where you can download these if you want. They are also on the Through the Mud and the Blood Facebook group, which is a private group, so if you want to go and join it, you just have to join it and I will let you in when I let you in. But I sent these off. They took a little while to come through. I'll talk about that in a second. But I've got British BEF Platoon 1917. I've got another one, the German Sostruppen Stug. I went for about 10 of them, I think, in total. German Sostruppen, another one there. Let me have a look. What else we got? Another 17 platoon for the British. I did a second version of the British platoon as well with slightly different bomber configuration. I've also got a 1918 British platoon as well, so a slightly different configuration there. We have another 17 one, so I just work my way through them all. Another 1918 one. That was slightly printed off, but it doesn't matter so much. And then also German Zugs in 1917 as well, which is another one here. And as I say, these were printed by Warbases. They've come out fantastic, way better than I could have thought, and a million times better than the ones that I did myself, which I did on mountain board, and they just look, the ones I did look terrible. These are a way better design, and well, not it's the same design, but just the fact that they've been machine cut and done and printed as well. So they've actually printed these on. Now, because they were custom, they took about a month to come through, but that's because they were also very busy over Christmas as well, so they had quite a backlog. Diane over at Warbases got in touch with me the other day as well and said that somebody had asked about them and asked if they could get copies of them, and it was basically down to me whether I was allowing it or not, and I said yeah, it's fine. So if you do want some, get in touch with Warbases, tell them which ones you're after, the Through the Mud and the Blood platoon packs. They'll know what you're talking about, and they'll do them for you. £5 each, so that's front and back. If you are going to get them done, I would suggest getting them glued together. I've glued these myself. The ones that I did with PVA, unfortunately they slipped slightly. You might be able to see there's a tiny ridge around them. They slipped slightly while they were drying, and rather than rip them off again and start again, I've left them. But I used mounting spray for the other ones and they work perfectly well. Just spray it on the back of the board, stick the two together and they go fine. I'm not too worried about it. As I say, the only thing was they just took about a month to come through, but I think they're probably clearing the backlog of orders at this point, so I wouldn't worry too much about it, but you know, they are there if you want to get them. I'm thinking of doing some Chain of Command ones as well, and I will upload those. I've done a few, I just haven't had time to do the rest of them, but I've done those ones, so go for it, go and get them. The other thing that came in, well, it didn't come in the post, it came in PDF, and I'd actually bought it a week before, but this did come in the post. This is Fireball Forward by Mark Fastoso and Jonathan Miller. You might know Mark from Mark's War Room. His channel is over on YouTube as well. He's done a lot of stuff with Little Wars TV. One of their recent videos was, you know, when this video is released, was one with Mark as well, where they're doing the Battle of Edgecote, and there's some To be fair, there's some hilarious American pronunciations of British things like Warwick and Pembrokeshire and things like that. It's brilliant, but it's just pronunciation. But this is their tactical World War II wargaming. This I got from the Wargames Vault. I was talking to Mark Mantic on the Storm of Steel Facebook page, and he mentioned I should have a look at it. Now I've been aware of this for a long time, to be perfectly honest. And to be honest, I've always not looked at it. I looked at it, I've never bothered about it. However, I just thought it's probably not going to be something that I like, if I'm perfectly honest. However, having bought it, I'm absolutely blown away about how good it is. I'm currently reading through it at the moment. I pretty much read most of the basic rules. I've read the armour, the infantry rules. I've just not gone into the real detail stuff. But it is an absolutely fantastic set of rules. There was one question I had about the rules. But what I'm going to do is, and I got in touch with Mark about it, and then he's offered to send me the Stalingrad book as well. So I'm just waiting for him to send that through. So thank you very much, Mark, if you are watching this. And a reminder that you haven't sent it just yet, but less said about that. But I'm going to do a proper review of it. I don't want to talk about it too much just now, simply because there's too much to go into. There's too much good stuff to go into. Is basically a review here, and I think this is something that other people will like a lot. There's a lot of innovation in it. There's a lot of interesting rules in it, and it seems like it'll be a really good game. And I'm actually looking forward to playing it. And I haven't been this enthusiastic about a new rule set for quite a while. That is, in brackets, outside of the Lardy's stable. Generally because I find a lot of rules are relatively dull. They don't really do a great deal for me. This really, I don't know why, it's pushed all of my buttons. So I'm going to look forward to doing some of this. I'm just trying to work out a way of playing it solo when you don't have much on the table, but it'll be a good club game. So let's say review of that coming properly later on, a better one, probably in the next couple of weeks. It'll be a bonus video. I'll just stick it out at some point, I would have thought. The other thing we did this week is I played a game of Undaunted Stalingrad, the second scenario of the campaign of 15 scenarios in total. I'll not tell you how it turns out because I actually filmed it for another bonus release as well at some point in the future. The last one I did got quite a good feedback and a lot of people enjoyed it. Played this one again with figures on the table, and a very enjoyable game it was, and it is an incredibly enjoyable game. I think with the Stalingrad one, the scenarios aren't particularly in depth at the moment. There will be later, I'm sure they're getting. So I think because it's a campaign, I think it'd be one of those things where you could probably play quite a couple of these games in an evening. Like if you went to a club and you were there for 3 hours, you could probably maybe get away with 2 or even 3 actual turns of the campaign. So that although there's 15 turns in total of the campaign, you would probably wouldn't take it that long, especially if both players knew the rules pretty well. Great game. Speaking of clubs, the other thing that I did this week was I played O Group with Lee. I've been looking forward to this for a while. We played a game a couple of weeks ago, but I was umpiring it. It seems that every game of O Group that I've played at the club, I've either been umpiring it or telling people how to play it, whereas this time I played a game with somebody who does know the rules. No worries, this is not slagging off other people who don't know the rules. Everyone's got to learn, and it's always a good way to teach people if someone knows at least. Oh, well, I pretend I know. Just make it up, don't you? But it's just nice to as well actually just sit down and just have a one-to-one game with somebody, and it was such a nail-biting, intense game. It was absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. We refought the Voin scenario, which was in the Two Fat Lardies. It's in their special, their annual special. I think it was a 2022 one, but it's also the one that Dave Brown had done as part of the introduction to our group stuff as well. Him and Chris, they'd played it early on the Two Fat Lardies TV, Lard TV, and we played it. We basically replayed it. We played the small version where you basically you don't have the reserves and you only play to 3 fubars rather than 4, which is the big version of it. And we had it done within a couple of hours, 2.5 hours, and absolutely intense. I won it literally by destroying his assaulting one of his units and just destroying one of a unit. He only had to destroy 2 of mine to a 1 as well, so it was so close. And it got to a point where halfway through I was feeling pretty confident because I'd taken quite a few casualties, but not for a while. And then I suddenly, just hammered loads of his, and that was mainly down to 3 rocket attacks. Although obviously in 1941 there were no rockets, but there were Stukas in this case. But I rolled for divisional artillery, and every one of them came up with 3 rocket attacks. Unbelievable, and they just absolutely wiped out all of his defence in Voin, and I was then able to just finally deliver the coup de grace at the very end. But it was so close, and it was so nail-biting, and it was one of those games where it would have been, it doesn't matter who'd have won. If I'd have lost, I'd have been happy with the loss, because it was such a close game for both of us. And I think Lee enjoyed it as well. Well, at least he said he did. Huh? Both went home with a headache from thinking. That's what I like about those kind of games. But yeah, so that was a great game of our group. Really enjoyed it. If you're watching, Lee, thank you very much. And yeah, so I'll wrap up there. Not much else to tell you. Vapn attack tomorrow, as I say, or today, whenever this video is out. If I do see you there, hello. And look out for a show report of that. Also, if you like the videos that I'm putting out, please do like and subscribe. As always, share these out everywhere. Check out the Patreon. Check out channel membership, because you'll get some videos early and ad-free. I shall see you in the next hobby update.